On this episode of Captain's Tales, we are angling in the 10,000 Islands, Florida, zoo fishing.
Hey, little gaggy. Little short gag, but these fish are so healthy. This is not what I was expecting. Tackle's a little overkill for a 30-inch snook, but it's not a Godzilla, but it is a start. There he is. Scale missing where he hit the roots coming out. There's a tarpon. Come on, baby, jump for me. Hopefully this falling tide produce some more fish like that.
Throughout maritime history, there have been experts on the water who knew how to navigate and locate their bounty. These individuals held the secrets to where, when, and how. This still holds true today. Get ready for an angling experience filled with sea secrets, fantastic fishing, and great destinations. For on this show, it's only the captain and the camera. Our host on this charter is Captain Donnie Kish, an excellent caster and light tackle enthusiast who is always on the hunt for an angling challenge.
Today we're going to start out, we're going to run offshore and net some bait, some pilchards. And being that we've got a real low tide and it's still falling, we're going to run a little further south and into the back and fish some of the deep runs where the banks are undercut. It's kind of zoo fishing. You know, you can go there and only catch a few little snook. You can catch a big snook. You can catch grouper, snapper. You can catch tarpon there. It's pretty interesting fishing. You got to fish a little heavier tackle, but it's pretty cool, and it's better than catching nothing in the real shallow stuff with the wind going the way it is today. Then after we get some more tide, we're going to run and hit some shallower water. And been on some real good redfish, so we'll see what we can pull out.
Before heading to our first location, we travel just offshore to net bait for today's trip. Casting with a net takes timing, accuracy, and strength to get a productive haul.
Not as heavy as it could be, but there is bait in it. Oh, other than species. Lots of threads mixed in with it. But threads make good chum.
Care is taken not to overfill the well so the bait will survive the run to our fishing spot. Captain Donnie is taking us to backcountry areas with deep cuts and fast current that allows multiple opportunities for multiple species.
Here, pony. So I'm going to stick this over in the rod holder, and I'll beat this bank with this other rod. Hey, little gaggy. Little short gag, but these fish are so healthy. Not a beast, but very healthy. You know, the markings on him. You can see where he was up in the brush and ripped him out of there. But these guys, funny. Put him back in there 5 minutes later, this same group will bite again. They're pretty voracious. You go tell Mama we're giving away shinies. Thank you. Acting like a groupie. Yep. Oh no, it's a Goliath. Hey, you buddy. Yeah, I don't see a whole bunch of these since the freeze either. Yeah. Chunky little bugger. Here. Nasty boy. It is not what I was expecting. Tackle's a little overkill for a 30-inch snook, but you get that big old gag and probably. I know it. I'm sorry. I cheated. I used heavy stuff. Yeah, come here. Yeah, I guess I had that coming. Yeah, Snooky. Love those circle hooks. It's a nice Snooky. It's not a Godzilla, but it is a start. Kind of dark too, must be coming out. Let's get her back in. Come on, girly. In, spit it out. Bump. There's a tarpon. Come on, baby, jump for me. Nice! Oh man, I wish we had hundreds and hundreds of these things this size. Well, he took me by surprise with that jump. I almost didn't bow to him. All that jumping got you tired? Play nice? Probably not. £30. When they jump that much and you're not prepared to bow to them, while I was trying to bugger grip him and he jumped, because I couldn't take the pressure off the line, he just sawed right through that 30-pound. Yeah, if I could have given him a little bit more leeway, I could have got him up for a nice snapshot and made him famous instead of getting all soaked. And let's catch another one. I'm going to go over some of the rods we're going to be fishing with today. I've got this Penn outfit. It's a 30 to 65 pound class rod for braid with a 5,000 size reel with 30-pound braid. It actually, for me, it doubles as a light tarpon rod, but it comes in real handy when you're zoo fishing in that real deep water with a hard current. because even an average sized fish on our lighter tackle that we'll be fishing later today, they can take you to school and you lose a lot of fish. So having a little extra backbone, a little more power, get those grouper out and the bigger snook out, it's real handy. And it's nice, you can put one of these in a rod holder and fish with a smaller rod. Sometimes when I'm fishing that deeper water with the big heavier rods, what I'll do is I'll do an offshore rig, what we call a chicken rig. Some people call them dropper rigs, where your hook's up higher than your weight because there's a lot of logs and stuff down on the bottom to get snagged up on. And it keeps your bait up more into the strike zone. But a lot of times if I'm in a hurry, especially these rods, a lot of times I have a tarpon rig on there, I'll just cut the hook off, slide a 2-ounce egg weight on there and then tie the hook back on and just do a regular sliding rig. It works fine, you just run a bigger risk of hanging up. You'll notice on this chicken rig or dropper rig, I've attached the weight with a big loop. This is really one of my pet peeves. I see people put weights on and clip the hook on the rod, and then they'll drive 30 miles at 50 miles an hour with the egg weight up against their rod doing this. Bang, 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 bang. And it actually puts a soft spot in your rod. So when you hook a big fish, it might not be the first, second, or third fish, but eventually that rod's gonna break there. What I do with these chicken rigs is I put a big loop here, so when I'm ready to move on to the next spot, I can take that loop and just put it right on the handle of the reel, and then take the hook, get it back out of here, take the hook, wrap it around the rod a couple of times, and hook it on the line or hook it on, anywhere in here. You can wrap it like this. It stays pretty good even in rough weather. But then when you're running, you don't have this egg weight just beating your $200 rod to death. So I just wanted to point that out because I see so many people put them up here and it's just a waste of a rod. It's going to blow up sooner or later. Most of the heavier rigs, I run a 5/0 Mutu Light circle hook with, of course, my little bead on there to stop the bait from spinning around and fouling on the hook. And that's strong enough, it'll handle the 30-pound without bending out, and big enough where you can handle, grouper and the Goliaths that come along and get you without worrying about not putting enough pressure to keep them out of the bushes because the hook's going to bend out. Because you don't really have a whole lot of time to think when these things bite. In the backcountry later on today, when we start fishing for the redfish, we're going to be fishing with a little bit more moderately heavy stuff. We got 15-pound braid on an 8 to 17 medium heavy, 7 foot with 3,000 size reels. Keep everything nice and light because you're going to be doing a lot of casting, just really beating the bank apart with this live bait. The fish are kind of scattered out, so you got to cover the ground. We'll be on the trolling motor a lot and just picking the little pockets apart. Pitch a bait up and let it swim out, hit the next hole, pitch a bait up, let it swim out. So you want it light so you're casting all day without your arm falling off, but you want to have enough backbone to pull them out from underneath these bushes because they're back in there real tight. When we're free lining no weight, these little pilchards, you want to hook them right in the nasal cavity. It's about halfway between the tip of the nose and the eyeball, and it goes through, well, normally with very little effort. And then they can swim free, and it actually is pretty strong, so you can cast them a good distance.
Sticking with Captain Donnie's plan for today's charter, we headed further into the back bays of the 10,000 Islands for redfish. Captain Donnie is taking us to backcountry areas with deep cuts and fast current that allows multiple opportunities.
Here we go. There he is. Finally, a redfish. A good redfish too. There. Hey. Oh, you on this side? All right. Oof. Pig. You see the scale missing where he hit the roots coming out? That's a pig. Hopefully there's more. Thank you, buddy. Oh. Only took us all day long to find them, but hopefully this falling tide produce some more fish like that. Oof. Man, these are bigger reds. Oh, look at that head shape. Oh, man. Hey, Piggly Wiggly. Ooh. I finally got you. I'll just flip you up on your 27s. Check, please. Beautiful red, not quite as big as that other one. 25 and a half, 26. None the worse for wear. There we go. Zoom. Ha! Woo! That was a little touch and go there. Angry fish. Hey, Mr. Redfish. Good trouble. When you're fishing 10 feet underneath the bushes, you gotta get them back out again. All right, let's get her up. Hey! Yeah, that's my glasses were trying to get wet. Oh, nice, stocky redfish. My circle hook, thank you. Very nice redfish, look at that. Got a couple genetic aberrations, extra spots.
It's always amazing how nature produces weird variants, like this redfish with a V-shaped spot on its side.
He's got a V. Very cool, this has got a V on it. I don't know, can you see that? It's got a V black spot. Victory redfish. That is very cool. I have never seen that before.
Join us again next week for another episode of Captain's Tales. Closed captioning brought to you by Moonlighter Push Poles and Nets. Join us again next week for another episode of Captain's Tales and try one more fishing spot online. Log on to www.captainstales.com.